Hey, what's going on, family? Listen, man, welcome to another episode. We're moving right along. I'm so happy that you guys are still tapping in with me. We had a great live last night, man. It was fantastic to have those conversations, and we got a great show today as well. But before we get into the show, as always, man, I just want to say thank you very much for your support. I'm gonna always be appreciative, even if it's just one person that subscribes, one person that follows, one person that hits the thumbs up, one person that hits the notification. That means the world to me. And believe it or not, after starting up after 2 weeks, we're almost to 100 subscribers. So before we start the show, I just want to say thank you and make sure you continue to spread love. Make sure you continue to share this show. It's the Listen Man Show. You know, the show for fans by a fan. Today is going to be a great show. It's going to be a topic that, hey, most of us have been hearing about if we're into sports, and most of us more likely are going to have mixed feelings about. And that's the NIL portal for NCAA, especially football. Football seems to have taken the portal to a whole nother level, right? And so you're seeing players go from this team to that team. They don't get playing time, so they leave. They don't like the coach, so they leave. So some people have mixed feelings about players being able to have this much power and control over their careers at the ages of 19, really, and 22, right? Sometimes 18 to 22. So that power structure has been a little bit different. Some people like it, some people love it, and some people hate it. Where do you stand on it? I'll look forward to seeing your thoughts and your chats, your quotes, whatever you want to put out there to let me know what you think, not just about the show, but also about the topic itself. So let's get into it. Portal madness. To start it off, I'm just going to simply say this. It's the adult's fault. That's right, you heard me. It's the adult's fault. Adults, it's your fault. Coaches, it's your fault. ADs of colleges, it's your fault that we're in this situation right now. You have been power hungry, you have been money hungry, and you've been greedy if you're the NCAA. And now it's coming back to bite you in the butt. Portal madness has happened now. The NIL has started something that I don't know if it could ever be stopped. Truly, it literally is like the train that just cannot be stopped now. There's so many nuances to it. We did a live the other day talking about being able to go back to college if you get cut from an NFL team. Now, we've seen over the last few days that that's kind of been redacted. The NFL put out a statement today about players that do that will no longer be able to play that full year, and they will not be able to be redrafted. So that may change some things, but just the fact that it actually came up and was a viable topic, a viable option for a few days, shows all of the things that's going to take place because of the transfer portal and what it's doing. So let's talk about it. We can't blame the young people, right? We can't do it. We have to talk about the adults and where this all started from. And I'm going to blame ADs, and I'm also going to blame coaches. And the reason why I say that is very simple. If you go back over the last 15 to 20 years, maybe a bit more, coaches would go and recruit. They would sit in someone's living room. They would literally tell them and their families how they would be there for them, how they would help them, how they would help them grow. They would help them become mature men, not just great athletes. They would give them the whole spiel of all the wonderful things that would happen at their program, only to find out that in their first year, maybe their second year, the coach decides to take a better opportunity somewhere else that's going to pay him more money. Or maybe he gets to go back to a school he attended when he was in college. And it's just a better situation for him and his family. And so the moment he says in a press conference, I'm not going anywhere, I'm here, I'm at this school, only to find out the next day that he's gone. So yes, I blame the adults, because if the adults were actually adults, then maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. If these coaches maybe showed a little bit of loyalty to the programs and maybe honored the contract like, the rest of us have to do when we sign a work contract, we have to honor it. We can't just say, oh, let me break this contract, right, and go somewhere else that's going to be better. There's penalties for those things. These coaches did not have that whatsoever. So they could just jump around, as we've seen coaches who have literally been known to just jump from one school to the next school over and over again, leaving a wake of basically students that were left at these schools, a school that they only attended because of a particular coach. Now let's enter in the NIL deal and the transfer portal happening. What has happened? Well, we see now the control has basically been shifted back to the players. The players now get to do what those coaches were doing. So much like a parent-child relationship or any type of relationship where there's authority, right? And they say that basically the action reflects leadership. Well, guess what happened? Now all these players are doing exactly what they've seen these coaches do over the years. They're jumping for the money. And now the coaches and the ADs, they can't seem to stand it. Many of them are retiring because they don't want to deal with what they actually helped create. So as my grandfather used to say, the roosters have come home to roost, and they don't like it. But here we are. So the question for today's show is really simple. What do you think? Is the transfer portal good for the NCAA football, or is it bad? Let's just look at a few pros and cons, okay? And then I'll let you make the decision. I want to hear what you're going to think by the end of the show to see what your thoughts are. So here's the pros, okay? The pros are really simple. It's more freedom for the players. That's number one. These players actually have an opportunity to pick and choose what school they want to go to. Maybe they get promised a certain amount of playing time, only to get there and find out that their playing time is cut short, or maybe they don't play at all. Now it gives them an opportunity to maybe go to a school that desires them and will allow them to play. You have a small window, especially in football, to produce and put yourself in a position to make money as well as get to the next level now. So these student athletes, I'm going to call them semi-pro athletes now. I don't really consider them student athletes anymore. But these semi-pro athletes in college football now can take control of their future. If they don't like a situation or they don't feel like it's conducive to them, they can actually leave. And we've seen that. We've seen some go from big Division I universities to smaller Division II universities and do well. We've seen quarterbacks that went from Division II and have proven themselves in Division I, as we saw last year in the playoffs, right, with Ole Miss's quarterback and his journey and how he tore it up, showing that there's a lot of quarterbacks in Division II that actually can play Division I ball. They just didn't get the shot. That's another pro. Another pro is really the financial side of things, right? These players actually get a chance to take care of themselves and their families while they're in school. That portal, the NIL deal, allows them to make money. And in some cases, they're making more money than some people in the NFL. So that helps the financial side of things, right? So there we have freedom and financial security a little bit, we could say, are two of the biggest pros when it comes to the transfer portal. But now, what are some of the cons? What about competition? Is the transfer portal really vacating competition? The odds of creating a super team is really becoming more and more to where we see players wanting to join together, or the school that has the most money puts together these massive recruitments, massive teams. Now we're going to come back to that. So remember that point that I just said, because we're going to find out if that truly is a con or not. But that's part of it. Is that competition slowly could begin to wane as more and more players are going to go where the money is at. Does not always put them in the best situation to win. So there's another con. Is it all about the money? If I had an opportunity to go work somewhere or do something that I really don't like or really want to do, but they're going to pay me $2 million or $3 million a year, would I do it if that meant being able to take care of myself and my family? Absolutely. Many of us do it every single day, right? We go to a job maybe that we're not too fond of, but it pays the bills. And so we're there. But in football, does that create a competitive environment? Or are we just following the money? We also can say that a con is really simple. The con of portal hopping. It hurts us as fans, right? Because you might like a team, you might even like a player that's recruited there, and then they're there for 1 year and then they're gone. What do? Do you keep cheering for them? Do you follow them from team to team, or do you stick to your team? So it creates all of these different dynamics that really aren't good when it comes to the NIL or the transfer portal. That's why it's madness in my mind that these players get a chance to do these things. And again, I don't fault them because they're only doing what they saw the adults in the room do. But now let's go back to that one point that we just made and talked about. We said on the competitive side, it might affect it because people would go after the money, right? And I said that that was a con. So I'll say that loosely because a lot of this boils down to money. And there is a huge gap between teams that have the money to spend and those that don't. But here's an interesting dynamic to that. Okay. I want you guys to think about this. It's really, really simple. And I want you to think, take a look at this. These were the top teams last year. And this is why I said it could be a con, but maybe not. I'm just going to read off. These were the teams that had the biggest player compensation last year, 2025. Ohio State, 20 million, Texas, 20 million, Oregon, 20 million, Georgia, 18 to 20 million, Alabama, 15 to 20 million, Michigan, 15 million, Texas A&M, 15 million, Tennessee, 15 million, LSU, 15, and Florida, 15. So no doubt those teams were going to be able to have expansive rosters because of the budget. The boosters now get involved as they've always been, even pre-NIL. The boosters were involved. That's why these schools can build these massive stadiums and state-of-the-art jerseys and helmets and facilities. It's all booster money. They're the ones that's really running the whole show. That actually will be another show somewhere down the line about boosters' role in all of this, and should they be limited in the impact that they're able to have in the NCAA. But for today, let's just focus on that. Does it always guarantee because you have the biggest budget that it means you're going to win? Going into this year, Ohio State is ranked number one. We just read last year they had 20 million to spend on NIL. That number probably has jumped up this year as to why they're ranked number one in preseason and because of the class that they have coming in. But did you notice what school was not on that list? As to why I don't necessarily view it completely as a con. Did you notice that Indiana was not on that list? Indiana, the reigning national champions. Yeah, they got involved in the transfer portal. And yeah, they probably paid some athletes. But see, that coach worked it perfectly. He got players that wanted to be there. He got players that would buy into his system. And they were able to go undefeated, win a national championship, and have a quarterback actually win the Heisman and become the first pick. So a con actually could be a pro if you have stability in the AD and the coach, and if you can bring in the right talent. So to me, it's only a con financially if you're getting people that come in strictly for the money. If they're only there for the money and they're not buying in to actually want to win, it's a con. But if you can use the transfer portal in the right way and NIL dollars the right way to bring in the right people, then yeah, you absolutely can build something fantastic. That is what's intriguing about the portal. So we're going to watch this year and see what teams maybe rise, which teams maybe fall. And maybe we'll be a little bit more critical of these teams that have the bigger payroll, but maybe they don't produce on the field. And maybe the reason why that is because they have a bunch of people on the roster that are there for the money and for the money only. And I hope that's not the case, as that would truly be bad for college football, which is one of the biggest pastimes here in the United States. And it's something that people look forward to. Adults and young and old get heavily involved in college football. But if we begin to see the mentality become that people are not competitive or they don't want to really produce anymore, they just want money, then we're going to see more effects. We're going to see it affect the high school ranks, right? Because why would I get this 5-star recruit out of high school if I can spend a little money and go get someone that's proven in his third year from this university? So now maybe those high school students are not getting the fair shake that they need because of portal madness. Man, there's so many layers to this. There's so many layers. But does it equal value? I'll share a quick story with you before I get up out of here. I can remember as a kid growing up in Pittsburgh, and my mom used to go to thrift stores like most of us who grew up poor. And I can remember my mom being so excited when she would bring some clothes home for me and my brother. And the first thing she would point out to us was that it was name brand. It was Ralph Lauren. It was Calvin Klein. But the clothes was ugly. And we would turn our nose up to it like, we cannot go to school like that, Mom. And she would say, why not? It's Calvin Klein. It's Ralph Lauren. It's Polo. But it was ugly. She was looking at the brand and that the brand is expensive. She wasn't looking at the common sense value of it, is that no matter what the brand is, that's not what people were going to see. No one was going to lift my shirt over to see the tag was Calvin Klein. Nobody was going to go to my waistband and see that my pants were Calvin Klein or Polo or Levi. They don't care. What they're going to see is what's right in front of them. And it's the same thing with college football. We don't care about how much money you spend. We don't care about the brand per se. We're only going to care about what we see in front of us. And trust me, the moment that we start seeing college football begin to become like the all-star game in the NBA where there's non-competitive because money is involved, the NCAA is going to have a problem. So listen, man, tell me, what do you guys think? Is the transfer portal good or is it bad for college football? Make sure you leave a chat. Make sure you DM me if you follow me on Instagram. Leave a message. I'll respond. Let's talk about it further. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, man, thank you so very much for joining the show. Those are my thoughts. That's what I think about it. Let me know what you think about it. I hope you guys have a great day.